first thing you want to do is to put those rubber gloves on and get ready for this job. This is a 7th generation iPad that we're going to be changing the Digitizer on. And I have been told that this works with the 8th generation also, but I have not tried it. But that's worth mentioning. To the right, you see the toolkit that this came with. This Digitizer and toolkit cost $30 on Amazon. And here is the Digitizer right here. It is not an Apple brand, it is an off-brand. But I have installed many of these and they seem to work pretty well. So what you want to do is all of the tools in your bag, go ahead and open them and put them to the side so you can get to them easy and they're at your disposal. You want to make sure you have the exact right tools to do this. I put a magnetic pad to the right so I can put the screws that come out onto that pad so I don't lose any of the screws. Next, you'll want a hair dryer or a heat gun because there is an adhesive kind of sticker below the screen that's holding the screen on pretty good. And what you want to do, you want to heat underneath the edges of that screen up until you can take a spudger or a pick and pry that screen upward and then insert the pick or a spudger underneath there. Until you can put that spudger underneath the screen, that is a good indication of when the adhesive is heated up enough, because it's got to be able to be pulled up from the suction cup. You'll put the suction cup on the screen and you'll pull out, and then you can take, a lot of people take cards or spudgers or even picks, and you're going to use that to pry the screen upward. And don't push too hard. Once it's inserted, you're just going to take that spudger around the screen, and as you're taking it around the screen, it will remove the Digitizer away from that adhesive glue and sticker that is underneath of the screen, and you want to go all the way around the iPad. And once you're doing this, also note that the glass to the screen may become more unstable and may break off. As I'm going around through and taking off the screen, I'm putting more picks into place so that the screen will not try to reattach to the adhesive, and I'm just working that Digitizer off of the iPad slowly but surely. Have patience and you will get this done. I'm moving the suction cup to different parts of the screen to where I need to pull up. As you can see, there is glass starting to break off in certain places. And that is another reason why you should wear gloves, so that you don't get cut. Be very cautious and careful about the glass, as you don't want to get cut. And you can see that I pretty much have the Digitizer away from the iPad. And some of the next steps you're going to want to do is to take a metal, in this case it's kind of like a spatula or spudger. I'm taking a metal spudger and I'm scraping the glass and the adhesive off of the body of the iPad. If you look closely, you'll see what I'm doing, and I'm cleaning this all up. In the video, it looks like I'm doing it in a couple of seconds, but in all actuality, this may take you a half an hour to an hour. But it's very important that you get all that glass that's stuck and all the adhesive that's also stuck on there, because you want this to be a smooth and flat surface for when you put the replacement Digitizer back onto the iPad. And that's what I'm doing here, is just working all of that glass out of there. And you'll be noticing in this video that I'll be using a vacuum, a shop vac, to be cleaning out the glass from inside of the laptop and all around my work area as I'm working on the iPad, because you don't want glass everywhere. So you might want to do that. Get you a portable vacuum or a shop vac so that you will be able to clean up any glass that is broken or any adhesive stickers, any kind of debris that comes your way. Next, you're going to want a Phillips screwdriver, and there are 4 main screws that you need to unscrew in order to take the screen itself off. There is one on each corner of the iPad screen. 2 of them are obvious as you can see them, the ones at the top, and the other 2 are going to be under stickers, and I'll be moving those back. As you can see here, you just you can use an X-Acto knife, a metal blade, a razor blade, tweezers even. This is going to reveal 2 Phillips screws that needs to be accessed in order to remove the screen from the iPad body. You will just take 2 small Phillips screwdrivers and unscrew these 2 screws as I'm doing here. Now once these 2 screws come out, the screen will be ready to be pushed upward, but not away from the body, as it is still connected with flex cables. It's connected to the battery and also to the Digitizer. Here I take out a screw that goes to the power, and I insert a plastic spudger to disconnect the electricity from the logic board. I then take Phillips screwdriver and I take out the 3 screws that are on the cooling plate. I lay that to the side, and that reveals the flex cable for the screen, and you just unplug it with a spudger, another spudger, and the screen comes right off of there. And there's also a plastic piece that I had to remove to unplug that Digitizer flex cable. We'll be putting that back on when I reassemble the iPad. And as you can see, there was a little flex cable there that I took off. You have to push a little tiny piece of plastic up and gently remove that, and also the 2 other flex cables you just pop up with the plastic Digitizer, and the Digitizer is removed. Next, you want to be very careful, and I caution very careful, as you're going to take the home button off of the Digitizer, because this home button is paired to your motherboard or logic board, whichever you want to call it, so that the security features will work. If you do not use the exact home button, you will not be able to do the Touch ID. Here I have the home button off, and I'm cleaning it with a plastic spudger, and I'm getting any glass shards or dirt off of there, making sure it's good and flush and clean. And I'm going to transplant this button into the new Digitizer. So I'm going to lay that out of the way, and I'm going to finish cleaning the sides of the iPad with that metal spudger tool. Then I'm going to clean off the glass again. You never want glass to be backed up or any glass down inside of your electronic equipment, especially in this iPad here. So that's what I'm doing. Now I'm going to go over the glass of the screen for the first time, and I'm cleaning it with alcohol wipes. Normally you would want it to contain at least 80% alcohol, and you want to make sure that the screen is cleaned pretty well. Reason being is when you get this back together is you're going to be looking at this screen the whole time. So you don't want any wild fingerprints or specks of dirt or hair, whatever there may be, to get onto your iPad screen. So I'm trying to buff it out some here with just a lint-free cloth, nothing special. Now you want to watch this procedure. What I'm doing is I'm removing the home button that came with the new Digitizer, because if I do not remove this button and install the original one, then I will not have the function of Touch ID, which I happen to use a lot. So I'm taking this metal spudger and I'm lifting up gently on the bracket to remove that Touch ID button, and I'm going to take it out of there, and then I put the other one in its place, and then I make sure that it's all fastened down really good. And this is putting it back together. There is a little sticker over this connector, and you can see the little black riser that you need to push up so that you can put this flex cable in. See, I'm going to pull it back. You put this flex cable in, you kind of slide it in, and if you can't with your fingers, you can use tweezers. Sometimes that's the best way to get a grip on it. You don't want to go too fast and mess anything up, so just take your time here, and you can see it's underneath and connected. I'll slide that right in on both sides, and then I just push the locking mechanism, the plastic piece, down. If you can see that plastic piece, and then now it's locked. Then I'm going to put the sticker back over it, just like it is from the factory. And now I'm going to connect these two flex cables that go to the Digitizer. And they'll only go one way, so don't force them. You'll feel it kind of snap into place. And as you can see, I'm putting the heat shield back on that goes over top of the flex cables. There will be 3 Phillips screws, and you'll go ahead and tighten those down. I'll try to get close up enough so that you can see the details of this video. And here goes the 3rd screw. Next, you'll put the plastic piece near the top of the iPad. It just goes into place. And then those 4 screws that are at the top and the bottom of the iPad screen, you'll go ahead and start putting those back in. Here's the bottom 2, and these bottom 2 were the ones that were hidden under a sticker. And I go ahead and put the sticker back over so that the screw's hidden again. And I do that for the bottom screw too. And then I make sure they're tightened. I take a double look at everything, and I'm going to clean the screen again before I put the digitizer in its place. Because again, you're going to be looking at the screen. You want to make sure there's no glass, any kind of debris, no hairs, no fingerprints, nothing on the screen. Give it a good cleaning. Then take the lint-free cloth and kind of buff it out to where it's shiny. And you want to clean it really good. And then you're going to put, there's adhesive directly behind the digitizer. Go ahead and remove the stickers to peel that off, and also the front sticker. Go ahead, the film protector, go ahead and peel that off of there and push down, and the screen is back on. As you can see, everything works perfect. So if everything goes good like this for you, give yourself a pat on the back, and you've just saved yourself tons of money not going to repair shop.